What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on ESPN with a 12-team full PPR mock where we are selecting third overall. Should be pretty interesting. And as you can see, we've joined the draft lobby just waiting for our selection. And while we do wait, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe. Give us a follow on Twitter at alldaypigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have? We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's get right into it. And this has started eerily similar to what I have seen in several other, ESPN drafts, and that is wide receiver runs early on. And I'm going to continue to take advantage of that and select the top overall running back on my board. That is Christian McCaffrey, getting him at third overall. It seems like, ESPN is really a platform that is going to allow you to take advantage of the top tier running backs in, potentially picks like 3, 4 to 5, because you've had 3 wide receivers go in the first 5 picks. Again, this is full PPR. So, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, they're typically more prototypical, standard type of wide receivers as far as formats are concerned. I would be taking Cooper Kupp ahead of Tyreek Hill, ahead of Jamar Chase if we're just talking standalone PPR value. But hey, this is why we do all of these mock drafts across different platforms so that we can get a taste and a feel for how the rankings are across all of them, because it really can make a difference on the team that you can put together. And I think it's fascinating. I think it's a really, really interesting exercise, because I would argue in a lot of other leagues, you're not going to be able to get Jonathan Taylor 7th overall. You're not going to be able to get Saquon Barkley with the 10th overall pick. The running back position, I understand it. In the last couple of years, wide receivers, especially in full PPR, valuable, but I still believe the running back position is king, especially with these top tier running backs, guys like Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. Now, sure, Derrick Henry, I don't love that selection at the 112. At that point in time, yes, I'd rather have like a Devontae Adams or one of these other top-notch wide receivers, but that's because this isn't, standard scoring. That's because Derrick Henry doesn't catch the football a lot. But let's kind of look at all these picks in the first round. So I want to break it down. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, which, again, I disagree with personally. We got Christian McCaffrey, then Austin Eckler. Arguably the best value in this entire draft. At 4th overall, Tyreek, Bijan, another great value. Jonathan Taylor, great value, 7th overall. Then Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, Saquon Barkley, and Derrick Henry. So if we count it out, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pass catchers in the first 10 picks. It's pretty crazy. In the second round, this is where you're going to see a lot of those, in my opinion, really good running backs that are left being scooped up. And the first 2 picks, Tony Pollard, Nick Chubb, exactly. Then CeeDee Lamb, then Devontae Adams. There goes A.J. Brown. I think right now, if somebody like a Josh Jacobs falls to me, if a Ramondre Stevenson falls to me, I would be very happy to end up with one of those guys. Amon-Ra St. Brown is also up for consideration. The quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, ranked 24th, 26th, and 28th overall, respectively. That is absolutely bananas. That would translate to Patrick Mahomes being an end of the second round selection. I get it. Folks, he's a great quarterback. Nobody can do what he can. But taking a quarterback that early on is not the way to set your team up for success long-term in the fantasy football season. So, no thank you. Jalen Waddle just got selected, and I'm in a situation where I can get Christian McCaffrey and Ramondre Stevenson. I think Ramondre Stevenson also has some low-key pass-catching ability. We saw it last year. No more Damian Harris. I'm not going to lie, I am a little bit worried about the whole Bill Belichick and New England Patriots factor because, I mean, for God's sakes, let's be honest. We never know what's going to happen there. We've seen other guys that we thought were going to be bell cows kind of disappear pretty quickly. So that's my only hesitation. But I like the value. I think it's a very good value here at the end of the second round, pairing him up with Christian McCaffrey. It's a hell of a 1-2 punch. A lot of people have Ramondre Stevenson as a dark horse running back to potentially finish as the overall RB1 or as a top 5 running back. So I like the value we're getting there. Then you see Patrick Mahomes and Najee Harris. So now I think we are in a place where we can look at the wide receiver position. Let's break it down also as far as some really good running backs that might be left, how I would rank them. Breece Hall would probably be my next highest ranked guy. Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker. Speaking of, Joe Mixon just got selected. But we're not really looking at the running back position, even though it would be tempting to start with Christian McCaffrey, Ramondre Stevenson, and Breece Hall. I want to, at this point, kind of look at the wide receiver position. And to me, somebody that is undervalued would be Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints. I know, especially with the way this is structured and the way the wide receivers are valued, there's no chance in hell he's going to get back to me. I think he is going to see a lot of targets. He's got the quarterback upgrade. Michael Thomas is somebody that could, again, deal with injuries. So I'm all right getting Chris Olave in the third round as my number 1 wide receiver. But again, I'm not going to lie. Part of me was very, very tempted to get Breece Hall as my third overall running back, have the running back position just squared away and not worried about it. Huge upside guy, but also coming back from an ACL, so bit worrisome. I think Olave is the safer selection there. And I already had McCaffrey and Ramondre Stevenson. So, maybe if I had gone a wide receiver in the second round, it'd be a different conversation. But because of that, we passed on Breece Hall, who I should mention at this point in time is a good value pick in the third round. We've seen across other platforms him be a second round selection. So again, that's ESPN devaluing the running back position. I do think we're going to see their rankings updated as the season progresses for what it is worth. So we got Chris Olave, then Jahmyr Gibbs goes with the 4th pick in the third round. I don't know how you can have him ranked that high ahead of a Breece Hall, even ahead of like a Miles Sanders when he has to contend with David Montgomery. So that has me worried a little bit. Then you see DK Metcalf. And again, those top quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. I mean, we don't really have too many auto picks here. So I think it's kind of a accurate mock draft. I think it's just a lot of people, especially, some people that rely too much on the rankings of the respective platforms are getting tunnel vision and just saying, yeah, Jalen Hurts, yeah, Josh Allen, yeah, just great values right now. Why not? But I mean, let's look at the quarterback position. Let's see where some other guys are ranked. So Trevor Lawrence is ranked 87th overall. I think that's a really good value compared to some of these other guys. Like, we're going to see Joe Burrow go probably in the not so distant future. And I don't think that the gap between him and Trevor Lawrence is going to be all that much, if I'm being honest. So that's just something to consider. After that Breece Hall selection, which again, 10th pick in the third round, great value. You see Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper. I'm sorry, I think that's a reach on Jerry Jeudy. I don't know how you can take him that early, especially when, Russell Wilson, how much he struggled with. Yes, I know Sean Payton is there now, so he could potentially fix things, if you will. But there's also a lot of other wide receivers, so worries me a little bit. And now it's starting to pick up a little. So after Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, TJ Hawkinson, Calvin Ridley, Kenneth Walker, and Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith would have been a decent value where we were selecting. For what it's worth, Mark Andrews still on the board in what would be the 4th round, but he's a guy that I'm just not touching this year. I think there's a lot of other targets in Baltimore. You have potential injury concerns with Lamar Jackson, inconsistency issues with Mark Andrews. So I'm fine passing on Mark Andrews. Now we're seeing a lot of these running backs that were still kind of there being scooped up. Kenneth Walker, by the way, lasting until the 4th round, I think is pretty good value. Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce. Miles Sanders is going to be tempting here, but I think there's also a really good chance that he doesn't even make it to us for what it's worth. Uh, I think I'm going to go with a wide receiver. Let me see what wide receivers are left. Keenan Allen still being there. I know he's old, but he's a guy that just produces, especially in PPR scoring. Not going to lie to you, he is going to be kind of tempting here to add him to what I think is a really strong like PPR group of guys. By the way, Miles Sanders also just went, which makes my potential pick here a lot easier and also makes me very glad that I already have two very, very good running backs. And I mean, when one of them is Christian McCaffrey, um, I I mean, a lot of people just take Christian McCaffrey and then don't even worry about the running back position until like the fourth, fifth round. We've already got Ramondre Stevenson. Here we're going to go Keenan Allen. Again, I think he's a solid PPR contributor. Sure, this might be his last year with the Chargers, but as long as he's healthy and as long as you've got Herbert throwing him the football, we're okay. We saw it last year when he finally did get healthy. He was contributing. He was, especially in PPR formats, he was consistent. He was getting you like double-digit points. That's what you want. So I'm happy to take him there. DeAndre Hopkins just went. I think Hopkins is somebody that, again, similar to maybe a Dalvin Cook, he is just so dependent on where he ends up. Because, I mean, if he ends up on a team like the Titans or the Patriots, which are the top two teams that he's visited, I'm not going to be excited about DeAndre Hopkins for this year. I mean, that's a far cry away from the teams and the quarterbacks he listed, like the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Eagles, Lamar Jackson, and things like that. So, yeah, we'll see. He's a really interesting guy. Wide receiver here again, I think DJ Moore would be a good value. Dalvin Cook just got selected. For everything that I said about DeAndre Hopkins holds even more so for Dalvin Cook. No thank you to him. Alexander Madison, kind of tempting, but again, I've already got McCaffrey, Stevenson, so let's look elsewhere. Let's look at potential tight end. Darren Waller, George Kittle, Dallas Goedert. I'm going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go with the guy that I mentioned before. I'm going to go with DJ Moore. I feel good about DJ Moore as my flex option. He's going to be by far and away the top target for Justin Fields. If you believe in Justin Fields, then I could argue that you should also believe in DJ Moore. He has had some very, very bad quarterbacks throughout the last couple of years, and you could argue this is the best quarterback he's had. So we'll see. We'll see if Justin Fields can take that next step. That's going to be the main thing here for him as a thrower of the football. So right now, I mean, I feel good about how we've kicked this thing off. Maybe in the sixth round, if one of those top quarterbacks is still there, we'll consider it. But, I'm looking at what we have going on here. And, I think we're probably going to be in the realm of, I'm just kind of scrolling down here, maybe one of these top tight ends, maybe a Kittle, a Goddard. We'll see if, auto pick kind of takes over for some of these people as the draft goes on. Alvin Kamara also kind of tempting. I know I've already got Chris Olave, but we can stash Kamara. We've got the guys to wait out a potential suspension if there is one. So that is something to consider. I think he could be a very good value pick. Alexander Madison goes. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know how right now you can be selecting Dalvin Cook ahead of Alexander Madison, considering that one guy is still looking for the team. And then another is presumably the top guy for the Minnesota Vikings now. So we're seeing some quarterbacks here go as well. Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields. Let's see what other top quarterbacks we have left. Herbert, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence. Ooh, there goes Alvin Kamara. So we're kind of doing an all right job predicting where some of these top players are going to go. There goes Justin Herbert, Isaiah Pacheco, and Mike Williams. At running back, we've got tough to get excited about some of these guys. Montgomery, DeAndre Swift now in Philly, I guess. James Cook in Buffalo, Javonte Williams, coming off major injuries, though. So I honestly might just stay put with McCaffrey and Ramondre Stevenson and just get best player overall. So quarterback here, we're looking at that, right? Trevor Lawrence is an option. Literally just got taken before, 2 picks before us. Tight end, though. We're going to look at the tight end position. George Kittle, Dallas Goedert, Kyle Pitts still there. And if this goes without a tight end being selected here, this next pick, I'm all right ending up with one of these 3 guys. And, there's only 2 different teams picking after me. So it's a guarantee that I'm going to have either Pitts, Goddard, or George Kittle fall to me. So we can look at quarterback. We can also look at wide receiver. And right now, when we're looking at Deshaun, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, I'm okay potentially looking at wide receiver. I think Michael Pittman still being available is a very, very good value. Welcome to the team. As not even a flex option, as a deep stash on the bench. I'm happy about that. And here we're gonna get our we're gonna get our choice at tight end. George Kittle just went. I wasn't 100% invested in saying, oh, him exactly, because I already did have Christian McCaffrey. I don't want to load up too much on the 49ers, especially with some quarterback uncertainty there. But I'm going to take a tight end here. The question is, do you go Dallas Goedert or do you go Kyle Pitts? Do you go with a little bit more consistency, less flash, or do you go with a high upside but risk? And obviously Goddard is a little bit more consistent. Pitts is, the high upside guy. I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert here. I'm going to go with the, safer play. I think that's just what I'm valuing a little bit more at this point in time. A running back, I don't think we missed out on anyone crazy, so I'm all right there. Wide receiver, I got Michael Pittman beforehand. Again, nobody here that screams must target, so I feel good. I think we can make, a couple more selections and kind of wrap this up, because we're going to get in the territory of more auto picks here. As you can see, we're going to get in the territory of maybe defenses, of kickers. And after 2 more selections, we should have a good idea of what our roster should look like. Our starting roster will be complete, assuming we take a quarterback and then another bench player to give it a decent grade, which why don't we already start doing right now? Our running back situation, even though we don't have a lot of depth, our 2 starters, McCaffrey and Ramondre Stevenson, can carry the squad. Assuming no injuries, we're good there. Then Olave, Keenan Allen, 2 just stalwarts as far as PPR production are concerned. Dallas Goedert, DJ Moore. Dallas Goedert, not super sexy. You could argue, should we have gone Kyle Pitts? But at the end of the day, I think it's similar type of expectation there. Then we got DJ Moore as a flex play. I think that's good value. Michael Pittman, we got as a bench guy, so I really like that for us. So let's kind of wrap this thing up here. Make a quarterback selection. So Dak Prescott was selected, sure. So was Kirk Cousins. All right. Right now, the highest guy that I would probably have on my list is Aaron Rodgers, honestly. At quarterback, I think the upside really is there for him. I think he's going to rebound with the New York Jets. So we can go with him here. I know it'd be a reach just depending on, or just looking at, kind of ADP wise. But for the sake of kind of rounding out this draft, let's take him here. I wouldn't normally do this, but I want to be able to give it a complete grade. Javonte Williams, we can also take right now as a high upside play that we just stash. We don't have to play him right away, so might honestly do that at tight end. Dalton Schultz also kind of tempting, I guess, but let's go with the running back. Let's get some depth there. And because we have McCaffrey and Ramondre, we can afford to take Javonte, even with his potentially debilitating injury. But overall, this is kind of the look of the roster. I don't mind this team. We didn't get a top 3 quarterback or something like that, but I think we'll be okay. As long as you have a top 10 guy that's somewhat consistent, you're going to be fine at that position if you constructed the other part of your roster well enough. And I do think that's what we're looking at here. McCaffrey and Ramondre, I think you could argue the best running back duo in this draft. And Olave, Keenan Allen, I really like how the first 4 rounds went for us. DJ Moore, I like the value. I like the value in Michael Pittman. I would have taken him around earlier. Dallas Goedert, Javonte, You can start to nitpick Javonte Williams. He might be a throwaway pick, but I went for the upside. So overall, I actually like this team. I don't mind it. We picked, what was it to begin with? I'm already honestly blanking. Was it? Let's look. I'm gonna have to scroll up to see where we picked. We picked third overall, so I think a pretty good result. But hey, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree? If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.